I really don't plan to find a partner anymore. It's too hard to support one. It's already good enough that I can support myself now. I think finding a girlfriend is really hard to support, like buying a car or a house. Spending so much money would quickly drag me down. Plus, I'm from a single-parent family, and I only have a dad at home. Now that I'm out working, I'm not earning much. If I were to find a partner and eventually get married, I really couldn't afford the bride price. The bride price here in Yunnan is around 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. It may seem like only 200,000 to 300,000 yuan, but for us workers it's still very high, and it's hard to earn that much money. Isn't being single better? I'm very happy on my own, doing whatever I want. Just taking good care of my parents is enough.
我都不打算找对象了，单身不好吗？
I've decided not to look for a partner anymore. Isn't being single good? A lot of people ask me, your salary is already so high, why are you still worried about finding a partner? But I still don't plan to look for a partner. In short, I still can't afford to support one. Some friends have asked me, do you really need to support your partner? But what I'm thinking is, after getting married, I still have to buy a car and a house. Just the cost of a house alone could exhaust me for the rest of my life. Once the housing issue is solved, if I do get married, I'll still need to prepare a bride price. Here in Jiangxi, the bride price is about 400,000 to 500,000 yuan, right? But even if I work hard for a year, I can only save 20,000 to 30,000 yuan at most. Besides the bride price, there's also the wedding banquet, rings, buying a car, renovating the new house, and buying a lot of new appliances and furniture. I don't even dare to think about these costs, so I feel that being single suits me best.
今年30岁反而不想谈恋爱了。
I'm 30 years old this year, but I'm not that interested in dating anymore. Born in 1994, I'm still unmarried and without children, now living and working alone in Hefei. Is it really embarrassing for a man to be 30 and still unmarried? I know that many parents are desperately pushing for marriage. To them, whether you're happy or not doesn't matter. Who you marry isn't crucial either. What matters is that you get married so they can consider their mission accomplished. Because everyone else is married except you, when others casually say it's for your own good. If you don't listen to their advice, it's your fault, and if you don't accept it, it's also your fault. The temperature in Hefei has been quite high recently. Summer must have truly arrived. Whenever it gets hot, I don't feel like cooking, so I make some dumplings and keep them in the freezer. When I'm hungry or don't feel like cooking, I can just eat them. Now that I'm 30, I have a clearer understanding of myself. Marriage doesn't have to be the focus of life. There's nothing wrong with being single. If you ask me whether I feel anxious seeing others get married, well, not really. After all, I control my own life, and no one can make decisions for me. At the age of 30, I may focus more on myself, and whether to get married is no longer that important. Following my own heart is what's most important, right? Moreover, I think if a man doesn't have the ability or money to get married, it's better not to. Nowadays, women are very realistic. If you don't have money but still insist on getting married, you'll end up either harming the woman or your parents. Parents spend all their life savings to get us a wife, but many couples still don't have a good life, eventually leading to divorce, resulting in both financial and emotional losses.
现在有很多小伙子已经放弃结婚了，不想再结婚了。
I have been working in marriage mediation for 10 years, and I have noticed that many young people now have abandoned the idea of getting married. This batch of young men who are unwilling to marry mostly come from rural areas. Although their conditions are very modest, they simply hope to find a suitable partner and do not pursue whether the woman is beautiful. However, they still find it difficult to find a wife. The reason is that even in rural areas today, the demands of rural women are indeed too high, requiring a house, a car, and a large amount of betrothal gifts. In some rural families, it may take a lifetime to save enough betrothal gifts to marry a wife. However, most families will never be able to save enough for the betrothal gifts, which means they cannot get married. Even families who can afford to marry a wife are reluctant to try due to the high divorce rate. They worry that the money their parents have worked hard for their whole lives will be wasted. Once the marriage breaks down, not only will the money be spent without any gain, but they may also become a divorced man, making it even harder to find a partner. Therefore, they choose to give up and no longer consider marriage. Do you have such young men around you?
How carefree is life when you stop being a simp, stop dating, and avoid marriage? Today is the first day I officially exited the simp zone, and my life is already improving. I slept until noon, went downstairs to find a place to enjoy a good meal, ordered a couple of hearty dishes, and had a bottle of beer, all for just 45 yuan. If I had spent that 45 yuan sending red envelopes as a simp, those little fairies might scold me and even call me stingy. But with that money, which those beauties look down on, I can enjoy a nice meal at a restaurant. Isn't that worth it? Today, I officially decided that from now on, every penny I earn will be spent only on myself. I'm already 35 years old. No matter how hard I work at the company, it seems I'm destined never to marry. Since that's the case, I might as well let it go. Enjoy life, eat well, drink heartily every day, and be a carefree single man. I used to really want to get married, so I would starve in the morning and eat instant noodles at night to save more money. As a result, I lived like a beggar. Now that I've given up on marriage, every meal includes meat and alcohol. Since marriage caused me so much pain and being single brings me so much joy, why should I force myself to marry?
我快30岁了，不谈恋爱，不结婚。
As I approach 30, I have chosen not to date or marry, and over the past 6 years, I have saved a total of 320,000 renminbi. Why are more and more men unwilling to date? It's because many of us from ordinary families have poor economic conditions, lacking both a house and a car. When we feel that we have no money, we are also reluctant to waste a girl's youth. I had 2 brief relationships during college, but both ended due to financial issues. Because I'm poor, I have to do part-time jobs to earn more money, and I put all my energy into earning and saving money, naturally leaving no time to accompany my girlfriend for other activities like shopping and chatting. I know that only having money can solve these fundamental problems, and I also lack confidence in providing a good future for my girlfriend. I don't want her to suffer with me. Realizing this, after breaking up, I never dated again. Today, I bought seafood with my family, and we all work together. My cooking skills are average, so I could only help with simple tasks. Over the past decade, I supported myself through part-time jobs during college, repaid family debts after graduation, and then began saving money. Not dating or marrying allows me to focus on work, and apart from providing living expenses for my family, I have no other extra expenses. By saving steadily every month, I have accumulated 320,000 renminbi over 6 years. The lunch I spent over an hour preparing is finally done. Actually, living with my family and not considering marriage is quite good. Being single has become addictive. Not only do I have more time, but I can also save a lot of money. After dinner, I plan to do part-time work to make more money. Currently, I have no plans to marry, and I know many friends who have the same plan as I do, only considering marriage and dating when we become wealthy.
最近大家都说90后、00后现在不结婚。
Recently, everyone has been saying that people born in the 90s and aughts are choosing not to marry, not to have children, and not to date, which is leading to negative population growth in China. What is the reason for this? Take me as an example. I was born in 2000. After the new year, I will be 24 years old, and this year is my zodiac year. I only earn 5,000 renminbi a month, and my job is still unstable. Sometimes I don't have enough money for myself, so how can I date or take a girl on a trip? I don't even have money to take her out for a nice meal. If I were to get married and have a child in the future, then our family of 3 would suffer together. Just thinking about it makes me afraid to get married.
你们知道现在的男生他到底有多清醒通透吗？
Do you know how aware young men are nowadays? My neighbor's son is in his early 30s and still single. During the new year, he came home driving a Mercedes E300. When chatting with him, I asked why he didn't bring a girlfriend home. He said that although he's not young anymore and has had several girlfriends, they all demanded a dowry of 300,000 to 500,000 renminbi, which is enough to buy a Mercedes. He said, "When I drive a Mercedes E300 home, my parents will think I am successful, and relatives and friends will praise me for my achievements. If I spend 100,000 renminbi on gold rings, gold necklaces, and gold earrings for marriage, that's equivalent to a year's worth of expenses for my business. To be honest, this amount of money could have been my startup capital when I was starting my business." What does this indicate? It's like a chance to change one's fate. I bought an iPhone for my girlfriend, and that money could have been used by my mom to buy a TV, a refrigerator, a microwave, and an air conditioner. If I spent 2 million renminbi on a wedding house, it would deplete my parents' savings accumulated over decades. If I don't get married, no one will take away my parents' lifetime savings. He also said that if he could truly find a gentle, considerate, and understanding girl, he would be willing to spend. But now he has seen through it and realizes that only by giving gifts, spending money, and making contributions can he get a fake "I love you" from her. Given this, he has decided to invest money in himself, improve himself, and get better results. He understands that only by becoming successful himself can he attract women who like, admire, and worship him. He no longer spends money on women but invests all his resources in himself. Only by becoming more valuable can he attract more women. Do you think what he said makes sense?
I want to tell everyone that now Chinese men are no longer as naive as they used to be. Instead, they have become particularly clear-headed. To what extent have they become clear-headed? Nowadays, when eating out, they dare to suggest splitting the bill with women. Before getting married, they might ask women to check their premarital health records. Even after marriage, they will inquire about the woman's savings. In the past, men pursued women. The situation now is that if a man doesn't pursue you, a woman might even need to take the initiative to pursue him. In the past, dating could take a year or more, and men might not even dare to hold a girl's hand. Now men might date a woman 3 times, and if she hasn't confirmed the relationship, he might move on to the next woman. That's not all. Regarding marriage, in the past, men were expected to prepare the house and car themselves, and women didn't need to prepare anything. But now the situation is completely different. Men will require the woman to bring a dowry. If the dowry is insufficient, it's a problem. If the woman doesn't provide a dowry, the man is unlikely to give her any wedding gifts or make promises like adding her name to the property deed. These promises are now rarely agreed to by men. Even single men, who spend their earnings on entertainment, travel, and enjoyment, find this more satisfying. Therefore, times have changed, and men are no longer as naive as before. So, to those women who want to make a lot of money through marriage, I want to say one thing. You really need to understand yourself before looking for a partner.